Throughout history, shadows hide secrets. Whispers of truth are buried beneath lies, and unanswered questions echo through time. Welcome to History, Mysteries, and Conspiracies, where we unravel the enigmas of the past, explore the unknown, and challenge the stories we've been told. I'm your host, Jake Browder, and together, we'll uncover the truth, or get closer to it than ever before. Are you ready to question everything? Today, we're diving into the cursed crying boy paintings, a tale of tragedy and mystery. It's a simple portrait, a boy's face framed by tears, his eyes wide with sorrow, his cheeks wet with grief. At first glance, it seems like an innocent piece of art, nothing more than a painting of a child in distress. But this seemingly harmless image has a dark secret, a curse, a tragedy, and a mystery that has haunted many. This is the tale of the Crying Boy paintings, a series of portraits that have been linked to fire, misfortune, and strange occurrences. What if I told you that this painting, found in homes all over the world, has been linked to inexplicable house fires that leave everything destroyed, except for the painting itself? Could this be a coincidence? Or is there something far darker at play? This is the story of a painting that was never meant to be hung on your walls. The Crying Boy was created in the 1950s in London by Italian artist Giovanni Bragolin. The painting shows a young boy with haunting, tear-streaked eyes. Bragolin's work was part of a series, and the paintings quickly gained popularity. It was marketed as a touching portrait, a symbol of sorrow and innocence, nothing unusual. But soon, something sinister began to emerge. Soon, after the paintings started appearing in people's homes, something curious happened. A strange and deadly pattern began to emerge. People who owned a Crying Boy painting found themselves experiencing a strange series of events, often involving devastating house fires that would ravage their homes, leaving everything burned to the ground, except for the painting itself. In the early 1980s, this eerie connection between the Crying Boy painting and house fires made headlines in the UK. One of the most well-known incidents involved a fire in the home of a couple in the town of Rotherham. Their house went up in flames, but when firefighters arrived, they discovered that the only item untouched by the blaze was a Crying Boy painting hanging on the wall. This wasn't the first time. Similar reports flooded the news, each with the same eerie pattern. The homes would burn, often completely to the ground, but the painting remained unscathed. It was as if the painting was immune to fire. But what could explain this strange phenomenon? Was it just coincidence? Or could something far more sinister be at play? Some believed that Bragolin, the artist, had unknowingly painted a cursed image, a piece of art that invited misfortune to those who hung it. Others speculated that the painting might have been created under dark circumstances, perhaps with the intent to bring harm to those who owned it. One theory is that Giovanni Bragolin himself was a victim of tragedy. Legend has it that the painting was inspired by a young orphan boy whose face Bragolin saw while visiting an orphanage. After the boy's tragic death in a fire, some claimed that Bragolin painted his portrait with such sorrowful intensity that the boy's spirit became trapped within the image. Was the boy's restless spirit seeking revenge on those who owned the painting? Or was the portrait merely a reminder of a tragic moment in time infused with an emotional energy that resonated through the years. Another, darker theory suggests that the painting could have been imbued with a curse or black magic. Some claimed that Bragolin was involved in occult practices, either knowingly or through associations with others. According to these theories, the painting may have been created as a ritual object, designed to absorb negative energy and then projected outward onto its unsuspecting owners. Could the Crying Boy painting be a vessel for a malevolent force that wreaks havoc on its owners? Skeptics argue this is nothing more than superstition, but the sheer number of incidents reported makes it hard to ignore. For those who seek a more rational explanation, there's the idea that the paintings were simply mass-produced and coated with a fire-retardant varnish. This would explain why the paintings often survived fires that destroyed everything else around them. However, even this theory fails to account for the strange timing and frequency of the fires. Were the paintings just unlucky? Or could their very presence somehow increase the likelihood of an accident? As reports of the cursed painting continued to spread, the media caught on. In 1985, the Sun newspaper published a sensational story about the Crying Boy painting, fueling public fear. The story was a mix of fact and speculation, but it captivated the public's imagination. Soon, people everywhere started disposing of their Crying Boy paintings, fearing that they too would become victims of the curse. But for some, it was too late. Once the painting was in their possession, it was impossible to escape its grip. But what's truly chilling is not just the destruction these paintings were linked to, but their strange persistence. Even after thousands were burned, dumped, or destroyed, the Crying Boy paintings continued to resurface in thrift stores and antique shops. For some, finding one in their home was like tempting fate. And as for the ones that were destroyed, some owners reported that the painting would somehow reappear, often within a few days. Was it some supernatural force at work? Or was it simply the painting's curse that would never let it go? There are countless stories from those who claim to have experienced the curse of the Crying Boy firsthand. One man reported that he had bought the painting as a joke from a flea market. Soon after, his home caught fire. While he was away, his house was gutted, but when he returned, the Crying Boy painting was untouched, still hanging on the wall, staring at him with those wide, sorrowful eyes. And then there was the story of a family who had inherited the painting from a deceased relative. Shortly after it was hung in their living room, their house was struck by an unexplained fire. Like so many others, the flames destroyed everything except for the Crying Boy painting. One chilling account comes from a firefighter who claimed to have seen dozens of these paintings in the wreckage of house fires over the years. He noted that the paintings always remained untouched, no matter the intensity of the blaze. The firefighter, shaken by the consistency of these occurrences, refused to allow one into his own home. Another story involves a couple who decided to burn the painting after hearing about its reputation. According to their account, strange things began happening even before they could destroy it. Their lights flickered, their dog refused to enter the room where the painting was kept, and objects mysteriously moved. When they finally managed to burn the painting, they claimed to hear faint, sorrowful cries as it went up in flames. In yet another eerie tale, a woman who had inherited the painting from her grandmother reported recurring nightmares of a crying child standing at the foot of her bed. These nightmares would occur almost nightly, with the child sometimes whispering inaudible words or pointing toward the painting on the wall. The vivid nature of the dreams left her waking in cold sweats, feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. The nightmares only stopped after she gave the painting away, following a desperate plea for advice from a friend who suggested she rid herself of the artwork. Fearful and emotionally drained, she handed the painting over to a thrift store, hoping to leave the unsettling experiences behind. However, the new owner also began experiencing strange occurrences, including unexplained cold spots in the room where the painting was hung, and the sound of faint sobbing late at night. The unsettling events grew so frequent that they too decided to part ways with the painting, convinced it carried a dark presence. So, what are we to believe? Are the Crying Boy paintings really cursed, as so many claim? Is there a supernatural force tied to the image of this weeping child, forever bringing misfortune and destruction to those who own it? Or is it simply a chilling coincidence fueled by fear and myth? Whatever the truth may be, the legend of the Crying Boy paintings lives on, a haunting reminder of how a simple image can stir fear, tragedy, and mystery. So, the next time you come across one of these paintings, whether in a thrift store or tucked away in an old attic, ask yourself, would you dare hang it on your wall? Thanks for joining me on my first episode, A Journey Through the Crying Boy Paintings. I hope you enjoyed uncovering the layers of mystery and intrigue as much as I did. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Have a theory or a topic you'd like me to cover? Reach out on social media or send me an email. There's also a video version of this episode available on my YouTube channel, History, Mysteries, and Conspiracies. Be sure to stop by and check it out for additional content and visuals. Until next time, stay curious and keep questioning the world around you. Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. See you soon.